Don't let your mind be your enemy. Stoicism. Your mind is arguably the most powerful tool you possess. It holds the ability to help you overcome life's toughest challenges, transform suffering into strength, and turn your wildest dreams into tangible realities. But like any tool, it needs to be carefully managed and used with purpose. Left unchecked, however, your mind can become a dangerous adversary. It can become your greatest enemy, pulling you into a vortex of anxiety, doubt, and insecurity. You may find yourself endlessly questioning your worth, imagining worst-case scenarios, and losing the ability to act when it matters most. Have you ever been paralyzed by your thoughts? Felt like they were controlling you instead of the other way around? The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This profound truth captures the essence of Stoicism, the art of mastering your thoughts and your reactions to life's unpredictable events. The core of Stoic philosophy is not about avoiding suffering or discomfort. It's about learning to control your internal world so that external circumstances cannot dictate your peace of mind. In this article, we will explore how to think like a Stoic and overcome the negative thought patterns that can become your worst enemy. We will learn how to take control of our inner world, cultivate resilience, and stop the cycle of self-doubt and anxiety. The Stoics believed that by training our minds, we can transform ourselves from passive victims of our thoughts into active creators of our own realities. So, before we dive deeper, take a moment to commit to yourself. I control my mind. By the end of this article, you'll be equipped with the tools to embark on a journey of self-mastery, and you'll have the mindset needed to conquer your inner battles. How does your mind become your enemy? Have you ever asked yourself, how does my mind become my enemy? Imagine a morning where you wake up feeling exhausted, drained by the invisible weight of your own thoughts. The moment your eyes open, your mind is flooded with negativity. I'm not good enough. I will fail. They hate me. These thoughts are not external, they are your own creations. The scary part is that they don't just fade away. Instead, they take root and begin to shape your actions and decisions. These thoughts often build up slowly, like a trickle of water that erodes the foundations of a dam. Over time, they subtly infiltrate every area of your life. You find yourself making decisions not based on your potential or goals, but based on fear, doubt, and insecurity. When you believe you aren't good enough, you avoid putting yourself out there. You shrink from opportunities. You never take the risks that could lead to growth. You stay stuck in your comfort zone because the fear of failure feels like an insurmountable wall. When you believe that everyone is judging you, you avoid social situations and isolate yourself. Your fears of rejection drive you further away from the very people who could offer support, understanding, and friendship. The result is a deepening sense of loneliness and frustration. The negative thought cycle feeds itself, and you become trapped in a self-imposed prison of your own making. Negative thoughts, the seeds of self-sabotage. So how does this happen? How do your own thoughts become your worst enemy? It starts with the negative thoughts that often enter your mind uninvited. For example, imagine you're an athlete with a chance to compete in a big event. Instead of focusing on your training, you're consumed by thoughts like, "I'm not good enough. Others are much better than me." These thoughts lead to doubt and anxiety, and instead of focusing on what you can control, your preparation, your mindset, and your performance, you start focusing on the imagined failure that's looming. The day of the competition arrives, and you find yourself stepping up to the starting line, not with the confidence of someone who has trained for this moment, but with a mind full of self-doubt. You can feel the weight of your thoughts on your shoulders. These thoughts aren't just harmless whispers, they affect your actions. You're not prepared to give your best because you've already decided in your mind that you will fail. In the end, you may not fail because of a lack of ability or effort, but because you allowed your negative thoughts to dictate your actions. This is the danger of negative thinking. The human mind is incredibly powerful. It can be a fertile field that grows seeds of positive thoughts like confidence, motivation, and determination. But if you plant the seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, they will grow into a mental landscape that stifles your potential. The result is a mind that holds you back instead of propelling you forward. When we allow negative thoughts to take root, we set in motion a cycle of self-sabotage. This is one of the most insidious ways negative thinking holds us back. It's not always about an external enemy, it's about the enemy within. You may have the ability to succeed, but when your thoughts betray you, you never take the necessary steps to realize your potential. Fear holds you back. You second-guess yourself, hesitate when opportunities arise, and fail to act when action is required. This is how you become your own worst enemy. Why negative thoughts are so hard to escape. You may wonder why these negative thoughts seem to take hold so easily in our minds. It's not because you're weak or incapable. The truth is that our brains are naturally inclined to focus on negative stimuli. This tendency is deeply rooted in our evolutionary history. In ancient times, our ancestors needed to be constantly vigilant to survive. They had to be hyper-aware of any potential dangers, whether it was a predator lurking in the bushes or a sudden threat from other humans. This heightened sensitivity to threat helped them survive. In the modern world, however, our threats aren't lions or saber-tooths. Instead, they come in the form of social pressures, imagined failures, and the constant worry about the future. Our brains have evolved to pay more attention to these perceived threats, which often manifest as negative thoughts about ourselves or the world around us. The result is that we constantly find ourselves ruminating on the negative, rather than focusing on the positive. We tend to believe these thoughts because they feel like the truth. When you feel insecure, you believe that your insecurity reflects reality. When you fear failure, you become convinced that failure is inevitable. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it's true, but your mind often convinces you. This is where Stoic philosophy offers a transformative solution. Stoicism teaches us to separate ourselves from our thoughts. The Stoics believe that you are not your thoughts. Thoughts are simply mental events. They are not necessarily true, and they do not define who you are. By learning to observe your thoughts, rather than identifying with them, you can gain greater control over your mind and break free from the tyranny of negativity. Detaching from negative thoughts, a Stoic practice. How can you begin to detach from negative thoughts and prevent them from controlling you? One of the most valuable lessons from Stoic philosophy is the practice of observing your thoughts without immediately believing them. When a negative thought arises, pause and ask yourself, is this thought true? Is there any evidence for it? Or is this just fear speaking? Rather than automatically reacting to your thoughts, the Stoics encourage you to observe them from a distance. Imagine that they are clouds passing through the sky. You don't need to grab hold of every cloud that passes, you simply let it float by. This process of observing your thoughts without judgment is a powerful way to detach from the negativity that often dominates our minds. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, put it beautifully. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This means that the way you perceive and interpret your thoughts and experiences determines how you feel and respond. By practicing detachment, you begin to see that you don't need to believe every thought that enters your mind. Just because you feel inadequate doesn't mean you are inadequate. Just because you fear failure doesn't mean failure is certain. In this way, You reclaim your power over your mind. Instead of being a prisoner to your negative thoughts, you become the master of your inner world. Worrying about what's beyond your control. Another way your mind can become your enemy is when it fixates on things beyond your control. It's natural for the mind to wander and become consumed by anxiety about future events. You may find yourself replaying past conversations, wondering if you said something wrong. You may imagine every possible negative outcome for events that haven't even happened yet. This constant cycle of worry and fear can lead to paralysis, as you become so overwhelmed by the unknown that you lose the ability to act. The more you worry, the more energy you expend on things that you cannot control. Stoicism teaches us that the key to inner peace is focusing on what is within our control and letting go of what lies beyond it. The Stoics understood that we cannot control the actions of others, the outcomes of events, or the circumstances of our lives. But we do have control over how we respond to these things. By shifting your focus away from what you cannot change and directing your energy toward what you can control, your actions, your thoughts, your attitudes, you free yourself from the grip of worry and anxiety. Instead of being consumed by fears of the future, you focus on the present moment and the actions you can take right now. This shift in perspective is one of the most powerful tools in the Stoic arsenal. Conclusion: mastering your mind. The mind is a powerful tool. When used wisely, it can be your greatest ally. But when left unchecked, it can become your worst enemy. By learning to detach from negative thoughts, shift your perspective, and focus on what's within your control, you can transform your mind from a source of self-sabotage into a wellspring of strength, resilience, and clarity. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: "You have power over your mind, not outside events." While you may not be able to control everything that happens in your life, you always have the power to control how you think about it. Your thoughts shape your reality, and by mastering them, you can shape a reality that is filled with confidence, peace, and purpose. So the next time your mind begins to spiral, take a deep breath.